Hello, everyone. Now, as you know, Michael Jordan fans are the worst sports fans of all time. And one of the many reasons why is because these people are always saying things like, Michael Jordan changed the game, and Michael Jordan changed the game the first day he came into the NBA, and Michael Jordan changed the game more than anyone else, and so on. Now, I'm going to explain to you why all this is ridiculous. Here are the reasons why, in no particular order. First, when they say these things, they are being disrespectful to lots of other people. Next, when they say these things, they are dismissing lots of other people. Next, when they claim to respect the game and then they disrespect the game, they are contradicting themselves. Next, when they claim to love the game and then they dismiss the game, they are contradicting themselves. Next, they have a history of trying to find a way to make Michael Jordan the #1 NBA player of all time. So that right there shows you that they're not reliable. Next, understand why they are doing these things. They are trying to find a way to make Michael Jordan the #1 NBA player of all time. So that right there shows you that they're not reliable. Next, how do Michael Jordan fans explain that lots of the owners that Michael Jordan played for, and lots of the general managers that Michael Jordan played for, and lots of the coaches that Michael Jordan played for don't agree with them? Next, how do Michael Jordan fans explain that lots of the players that Michael Jordan played with don't agree with them? Next, how do Michael Jordan fans explain that lots of the players that Michael Jordan played against don't agree with them? Next, how do Michael Jordan fans explain that lots of NBA Hall of Famers, lots of NBA legends, lots of NBA scouts, and lots of NBA experts don't agree with them? Next, how do Michael Jordan fans explain that Michael Jordan doesn't agree with them? Next, since lots of these people don't agree with them, why do Michael Jordan fans sometimes reference one or more of these people for one or more topics? Next, how do Michael Jordan fans explain that usually the only people who say these kind of things are Michael Jordan fans? Next, if this was the other way around and they were an NBA Hall of Famer or some other NBA person and they found out that there was a younger NBA fan who wasn't there when they played, who doesn't have that much tape of them, who isn't an expert on the past NBA and so on, and they found out that this younger NBA fan said these things, they wouldn't agree with that fan. Next, if some non-Michael Jordan fan said these things and it went against Michael Jordan, they wouldn't agree with that non-Michael Jordan fan. Next, Michael Jordan fans have a contradiction. They always ask people who disagree with them if they were there when Michael Jordan played, if they went to his games, if they saw his games live on TV, and so on. And yet, they don't ask themselves these same type of questions when it comes to lots of other NBA Hall of Famers. If they did, they would know that it would go against them, and they wouldn't come to these kind of conclusions. Next, how come Michael Jordan fans don't say these kind of things for some other NBA players? Next, how come Michael Jordan fans don't say these kind of things for some other players who played some other sports? Next, how come Michael Jordan fans don't say these kind of things for some other people when it comes to some other things outside of sports? Next, how come Michael Jordan fans don't say these kind of things when it comes to who they rank as the #2 NBA player of all time, and the #3 NBA player of all time, and the #4 NBA player of all time, and so on? Next, how come Michael Jordan fans don't say these kind of things when it comes to who they rank as the second best player in other sports, and the third best player in other sports, and the fourth best player in other sports, and so on? Next, how come Michael Jordan fans don't say these same type of things when it comes to them ranking the second best person or the second best thing in something outside of sports, and the third best person or the third best thing in something outside of sports, and the fourth best person or the fourth best thing in something outside of sports, and so on and so on? Next, how do Michael Jordan fans explain that lots of people have said these kind of things about lots of other players? Next, this whole thing about changing the game is actually a common thing that is done by Michael Jordan fans and other idiot NBA fans. They always act like so many players change the game. For example, let's go to players that were in the NBA from the time that they loved the most, the 1980s and the 1990s. They always tell people that Magic Johnson changed changed the game. Larry Bird changed the game. Isaiah Thomas changed the game. Hakeem Olajuwon changed the game. Allen Iverson changed the game. Charles Barkley changed the game. Dominique Wilkins changed the game. And there are more examples, but you get the point. Now let's go to players that were in the NBA after Michael Jordan left. They always say Kobe Bryant changed the game. Tim Duncan changed the game. Stephen Curry changed the game. And there are more examples, but you get the point. Now let's go to players that were in the NBA before Michael Jordan was in the NBA. They always say things like Dr. J changed the game. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar changed the game. Pete Maravich changed the game. And there are more examples, but you get the point. The point is, to them, everybody that they know and that they like changed the game. So if so many of them change the game, then what is the point when they act like it is not a common thing? Now don't get me wrong, all the NBA Hall of Famers are unique. They all bring something to the game that people like. But that doesn't mean people should just start taking each NBA Hall of Famer and acting like each one is better than every other NBA Hall of Famer. Anyway, the point is, they always act like so many people change the game. That right there shows you that they are not reliable. Next, when it comes to the things that they say he did, they never actually explain how he did the things that they say he did. Next, use some common sense. Do you really think that he did the things that they say he did? Next, use some common sense. How does one player do all the things that they say he did? Next, when it comes to NBA Hall of Famers who actually change the game, a lot of them don't know that those players changed the game. So because they don't know, they don't end up giving the same credit like they give Michael Jordan. Next, Michael Jordan fans have a contradiction. Sometimes Michael Jordan fans know that one or more NBA Hall of Famers actually changed the game, but they don't give them credit. That is a contradiction. Next, when there were changes because of Michael Jordan, there were a lot of negative things. For those of you who don't know, I have made some videos of how things were when Michael Jordan was in the NBA. Next, you could make the point that because of Michael Jordan, the NBA made more changes that were negative instead of positive. Next, there is no fact to prove that any of the things they say he did are true. Hey, please subscribe, and if you disagree with me on something, you can go on my program and show me your facts on whatever you disagree on. If you want to go on, let's set it up. Send me an email. The email is right there in the description section. Thank you.